1984, there lived an old widowed lady by herself in a two-story house, who was completely immobilized and bound to a wheelchair. Ever since the mysterious death of her husband, she required the aid of a caretaker, who would visit her daily to help her with everyday tasks. What made it even more difficult was the fact that the floors of the house were only connected by an old staircase inside. When the old lady needed to be moved between the two floors, the caretaker would have to carry her like an infant up and down the stairs. One day, however, the police received a call from the widow. There had been a murder at the house. Since the police units were scarce at the time and the murder had already fled the scene, only one detective was sent out to conduct the initial crime scene report. He arrived to see the carrier's body splayed out on the floor with her vocal cords ripped out and a pool of blood on the first level of the house, with the old lady atop of the staircase in her wheelchair watching him, still and slightly seemingly in shock. He could immediately rule her out as a suspect due to her inability to move up and down the stairs, and because she was trapped up there the time the murder took place. It was similar to the death of her husband many years ago, who had suffocated in his sleep while on the couch downstairs. The detective put on his gloves, took photos, swabbed for evidence, and covered the body until the coroner arrived later. All routine business. He scoped the house downstairs for any clues and asked the old lady if he could look upstairs. She insisted that she was upstairs the whole time and no one apart from her had been up there that day. But regardless of this, the detective ascended the staircase, to which she hesitantly moved aside. Beyond the staircase there was a narrow corridor with three closed doors along it. He checked behind each of the doors, the empty bedrooms. Nothing. The bedroom, nothing. He became anxious as he slowly made his way to the final bedroom where the old lady slept. He opened it and everything looked normal. A bed, a wardrobe, and a bedside table with a lamp. He checked every wall of the room in horror, as it was not what he discovered, but what was that he didn't discover made him stop dead in his tracks and slowly reach for his gun in his holster. It was a detail so minor that they had completely overlooked it on the last investigation of the husband's death. There was no phone upstairs. He suddenly heard a noise as he withdrew his gun and rushed out of the room only to find an empty wheelchair on top of the stairs. My, what a story indeed. Now, the last part of this video is just basically giving out my thoughts. So if you're interested, stick around. So first, starting off with the ending. Honestly, I gotta say, the ending is pretty good. The twist where it is revealed towards the end that the wife, or the widow, we'll just call her the widow was actually responsible for her caretaker's death, and also her husband, who was later mentioned early in the story. Another thing that I liked about this story too is that when we're first introduced, it's pretty much sets up the how every normal day goes for the widow, and how there's a caretaker and there's a sort of daily routine. And so it then starts back to the question, well, how long was she in a wheelchair? When did she, was she ever actually in a wheelchair? Was she diagnosed? Or, it just adds, it makes you keep wondering. And that's what I like about this story, that it makes you keep, wondering, like, okay, how long did she do this? Because it did say, like, her husband died, like, a long time ago. So was she doing this for a while? Or how many caretakers has she, killed and gone away with? And also towards the end, did the detective survive? Did he die? And did the woman got away, or was she apprehended? And that's what I like about the story, is that it's such short and sweet to the point that it just leaves you with a bunch of questions and little theories, what's going on. And honestly, my complaints with the story are non-existent. Honestly, this is a good little campfire story, and I'm surprised it doesn't get that much recognition compared to the other creepypastas. As this one's really, I'd say it's probably just as good as Annie 96, I think, is typing, which that's another great story that I might read. But Yeah, honestly, I recommend checking out this story, as this is a good little campfire story. It doesn't try to be anything more, it just tells a creepy story from beginning to end with a good twist, and it keeps you guessing towards the end. So, yeah, I guess if I had to give it a rating, it would be a 10 out of 10. Honestly, I recommend checking out this story. So, yeah. Anyways, with that being said, guys, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what other creepy story you would like to hear. Because honestly, I love doing creepy reading, and they're honestly fun. So, that being said, I am out.